You miss me? Quick, you walk into an H&M, it's a busy Saturday afternoon, and you hear a song playing. What song is it? If you chose any of these options, you'd be correct. That was really good. How did you get that? Let's talk about why. Music is everywhere. It's the fabric that ties all of our sanities together when we're going through our everyday life. And not to get too poetic with you, but it is very meaningful. Music can do a lot of things. It can keep you on task when you're doing something important. It can get you into a certain mood. It can do virtually whatever you want it to. But it can also make a lot of money. And it can make other people a lot of money. Just like any other form of art, music is marketable, whether that be through physical media that you purchase, digital media you purchase, concert tickets to go see your favorite artist, so on and so forth. You literally spend so much money just listening to music. And all of that money is going to someone, and that someone is employed by something. And that something has to figure out all of these ways to keep making money and make even more money than last time. They have to figure out how to make their music so middle ground, so tolerable, so everywhere that they are just raking in loads and loads of cash. This genre of music, I've heard it called TikTok music, I've heard it called NPC music, I've heard it even called bot music, but I'm going to refer to it today as corporate pop. Music that is so corporate friendly, that doesn't ruffle any feathers, that is just so middle ground that it can be played anywhere. And because it can be played anywhere, it makes all that much money. A lot of the music I highlight on my channel is very intentional. Its lyrics are very well composed, they have meaning to it, and the melodies are very intricate and intense. Imagine if you just threw all of that out of the window and started talking about how cool we all are for 3 minutes for a few different songs. We have come to see a lot of the most popular, most mainstream artists make this kind of music as of recent, and I want to talk about why that is, kind of what the method behind corporate pop is, and just why are they doing that? As you can see, my hair is very messy. It's been a long week, but I have to talk about this because it's been on my mind for so long. If you're new here, my name is Henry. I love music. This is where I talk about it. I make a lot of different kinds of music commentary videos. So if you subscribe, I'll be really happy. You won't be able to see how happy I am, but you just it's just a trust thing. Let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get into it. One quick disclaimer that I have for this video is that 99% of the time when I'm talking about certain artists in this video who make this kind of music, my criticism is not necessarily directed towards them as a person. I'm more talking about their record labels or their management. When a person gets this popular and makes this kind of music, they have a whole team of songwriters, producers, management, all that kind of stuff that is pushing these ideas into their head. They're giving them these songs to perform. It's not necessarily their fault. And while they do somewhat have a say in this, I want to make that very clear because I don't want to attack these people. I don't want to seem like I'm dogging on them too much. It's just the music they make, and it's just the teams behind them. I say that because I don't really criticize music or critique music that much on my channel, but I mean, you kind of have to at some point, if you know what I mean. Now, there are 3 specific attributes that I feel like corporate pop has to have in order to be corporate pop, and that is, it has to be marketable, it has to be relatable, and it has to be everywhere. We're going to start with the first one first. Obviously, if the main focus of releasing this kind of music is to make money, you have to be marketable. And what do I mean by that? Your art is the most marketable when you have the biggest audience to present it to. So how do you create your music like that? You try to appeal to everybody, or at least the large majority of people. Most people that listen to music don't think about music too intentionally. They're just trying to get through their day. Maybe they just have the radio on. Maybe they're trying to play something for their kids, something for everybody to enjoy as the day kind of just moves along. And that's kind of the biggest market when it comes to music, is the non-music listener. So in order to appeal to that whole audience, you have to either make your song very, very abstract to where you're not really trying to get to a point, or make it just specific enough to where you can tell a clear-cut story. The abstract songs are kind of talking about a feeling or an emotion or something like that, something that panders to just one specific feeling. Think Happier by Marshmello. The feeling is wanting to make someone happy, but knowing that you have to leave. I'm trying to remember the lyrics in my head. And then you have the songs that kind of try to tell a story. A lot of times it's a story of triumph or perseverance, something that is very, very relatable, which I will get more into later. But in that sense, I think a lot about the Imagine Dragons songs. A lot of their songs are about getting back up from the ashes in some superhero movie fashion, and that is the story they're trying to tell. They may try to tell it 9 different times, but that is the story they're trying to tell. Okay, so you know what you want to make the song about, but how do you make it even more marketable? You have to make it Simple. You don't want to try and create a genre-defining, groundbreaking piece of music that's going to confuse the average listener. You just want to make something simple. Maybe with a few chords, just a couple instruments, something that's not going to rattle their brain a lot. The last and most important thing you want to do to make your song as marketable as possible is make it middle ground. When you're making music solely to make money, you don't want to push a certain idea. You don't want to push a certain theme or a call to action or something like that, because you're trying to appeal to everybody, and you can't appeal to everybody if you're splitting your audience in half. This is why a lot of songs, like I said, talk about a feeling or a certain story of triumph or something like that, because it's something everyone can kind of appreciate. You don't really have to call certain things into question. All of this, in my opinion, is kind of what leads to these songs sounding the exact same in some instances, but also just feeling very soulless. There's no, for lack of a better term, soul in these songs. Especially with the lyrics. If you are trying not to confuse your audience, you don't want to have confusing or thought-provoking lyrics. And as someone who grew up playing video games and reading books all the time, what does that make me? Why would you say that? I've been so nice to you. Why would you say that? Oh, you. It makes you someone who pays attention to lyrics or dialogue a lot more. So when I'm listening to someone sing or talk about something so abstract that I don't really know what they're saying, I don't know what to do. But in doing this, you succeeded in pandering to the biggest audience in the market, the non-music listeners. So what do you do next? You have to make the music, but most importantly, the artist, relatable. I talked a little bit earlier how you want the music to be relatable if you're trying to market it to literally anybody possible. So that's why the lyrics are very relatable. But not only do you want the lyrics to be relatable, you want the person singing to be relatable as well. Thus brings my first name drop of this whole video. Benson Boone. To the average listener, Benson Boone's come-up story is respectable. He started auditioning for American Idol. He withdrew from the competition because he wanted to focus on his own music, started posting on TikTok, and then got signed to the record label of the guy from Imagine Dragons, which in hindsight makes a lot more sense than I thought. But in terms of the way he lives now, to the average listener, it could be relatable as well. He's someone that left the religion he was in to live a lifestyle that was more expressive, more free, and put out his music with a lot more flamboyance than it would have allowed. It feels like a self-made hero story, a guy that achieved his dreams and is just kind of riding the high of that. Or that's what you would have thought if you weren't someone who looked too deep into the music like I am. That wasn't meant to be a jab, I'm sorry. Putting Benson in that record label kind of subjected him to the same stuff that Imagine Dragons subjected themselves to, which is that over-marketable, overly relatable music that pandered to everybody. Corporate pop. Now, I could talk about some of the unethical ways that artists like this have tried to be overly relatable. The way artists maybe over-dramatize certain aspects of their personal life or other aspects of their story to draw in more people. Maybe trying to pander or appear as something they are not to gain an audience or part of an audience that is what that is. I could talk a little bit more about that, but I want to be careful about how critical I am of these people, because I really do feel like this is more of a management side and like a songwriter side than an actual artist side. People like Benson and Imagine Dragons have all stood for really great things, and they've all donated to lots of great causes. So it's very difficult to say that they're like, oh, they're not good people, or they're this and this and this. Because to some extent, I think they do care. But it's very hard when a group comes up with an idea that can make you a lot of money to just kind of say no, if that makes sense. Another person I want to point out is Jelly Roll. And again, I don't want to be super critical of Jelly Roll because he is, I feel like, a good person overall. But again, we're talking about the music here. Jelly Roll is another artist who has a story that a lot of people can respect. He was in prison, he's making music as a way to kind of make a name for himself now and pick himself and his family out of a bad situation they were in, and it's working out for him a lot. But what is his music? Maybe not corporate pop, it's more like corporate country, corporate rap sometimes, if you get a little spicy with it. Jelly Roll's music has fallen into that same category of being so overly marketable that it's just middle ground, uninteresting, so much so that everybody can enjoy it. He has a big audience that can relate to him, his music, or just appreciate his story, and that's what draws them in most of the time. Again, I know you're sick of me saying that, but Benson, Jelly Roll, on the off chance you see this, y'all are fine people. I'm talking about your music. It's just not for me. Let's move on. All right, and the last qualifier for it to be corporate pop is it needs to be everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I literally mean everywhere. This song needs to be in the grocery store when you walk in. It needs to be playing on your car's radio, and it needs to be playing on your Alexa or your Google or whatever you have the minute you walk in the door. It needs to be in commercials. It needs to be in ads. It needs to be literally in every single crevice of your life so that it gets stuck in your head and therefore you keep listening to it. Commercials, advertisements, and these like store playlists are the reason I call this corporate pop, because it's so corporate friendly that corporate seeks it out. They want it to be playing in their stores so people have a more enjoyable time shopping around and they have something to listen to while they're in there. And commercials want songs that they feel like everybody knows or that are trending right now so they can grab people's attention. I'm sorry, Benson, I'm using you as an example again, but take Moonbeam Ice Cream. I am so sorry, I don't even know what the song is actually called. I have been hearing the melody to that song in literally every single commercial for the past 2-3 weeks. It's been absolutely everywhere. That's because the song is just an abstract song about feeling happy, having a good time, just enjoying the good things in life. And so commercials or companies see that and they want to integrate that into their stuff. It's become even more widespread with social media and in particular TikTok. Songs that are trending on TikTok can trend for a day, they can trend for a week, they can trend for a whole year if they want to. But when a song trends, people will always capitalize on that song and try to get their own spotlight of fame, their own 100,000, 500,000, million views whenever they can. And so, same example, Moonbeam Ice Cream trending on TikTok, a bunch of people are gonna flock to it and try to make videos to that song. This causes the song to be in your life everywhere unintentionally, and since it's always on, you either A, hate it so much that you never want to hear it again, or B, you're gonna be like, oh, that song was kind of cool, let me listen to it on my own time. So now, not only does the company have the money from the other companies using their song in their advertisements, they have money from you streaming their song. It's a whole rabbit hole that you go down into. It's probably one that I'm thinking about a little too deep, but you know what, that's my job. So when you sit down and you look at the facts and you look at just all of this stuff about this kind of music, you start to wonder, why is it even here anymore? For every person that likes this kind of music, it seems ever more clear that there are people that don't like this music and are fighting against this kind of soulless corporate pop. So why is it still gonna be here? At the end of the day, it will always devolve into money. As long as companies, labels, management see an opportunity to keep making money through this way of releasing music, which, just FYI, is always going to be a thing, they are going to keep doing it. They will always keep piggybacking, culture vulturing, just stealing little pieces and pockets from different genres, different artists who are actually trying at what they do and conglomerate it into this big lump of just whatever. Every single form of life, every single form of art has this group of people who are only in it for the money. I talked about it in my music journalism video. I talked about it in my AI video. I've talked about it probably in 75% of the videos on my channel. There's always someone that's only in it for the money. And the worst part about it is that these people aren't dumb. They are very smart, and they're so smart that this form is just gonna keep evolving over time. These people are gonna keep up with the trends. They're gonna keep analyzing what music is more popular. They're gonna keep going and going and going and going until they make even more. If there's ever a world where techno music is the most popular form of music, corporate techno will be soon to follow. If there's ever a world where industrial noise music is the most popular, corporate industrial noise will be there because that's where the money's at. Think of it like the California gold rush. People saw that there was gold in California, so they ran over there because that's where the money was. This is the same thing. But the other good thing is that there will always be people that make music that actually have soul, that care about what they're doing and really, really, really enjoy it. It's a simple deterrent for this corporate pop stuff, and all it takes is just caring about music a little bit. And hey, even if you don't, even if this is the music that you listen to, that doesn't make you a less of a person. It doesn't mean you're like bad or anything. At the end of the day, people listen to it for a reason. It's marketable for a reason. Listen to whatever you want, I don't care. Just the reason I'm making this video is to kind of spread awareness to why it's being made, kind of shed light on what the whole purpose is, and just talk about it for a little bit. But I mean, I think that's all I have to say about that. I hit all my boxes. I checked off everything I wanted to talk about. So, good first commentary video back. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, do whatever you want. I'm just having fun. We are ever so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I will do something special for it. I don't know what yet, but we'll get there eventually. The next video I have planned is a return to my small artist reaction series. It's something I took a break from for a while, but I've just gotten so many requests to bring it back, and I've gotten so many new submissions that that's what we're gonna do next, so get excited, I guess. But anyways, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.